Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the first part of Let's Get Real Fridays with Tushar. TVP in TVP TV, is the usual high energy and bubbly person that you all know and love. But in LGT Fridays, I am here as just me, the real me, Tushar. And for each and every one of us who head out into society, we put on these masks, these personas that are most often more likable by the people around us and the people we love. And so, inadvertently, we keep those masks up in the open and only really sometimes put them down in our private spaces. But in this video, just put that mask down, just put it down, and let's drop whatever facade that we have going on. Just sit back, relax, and be ourselves. So, with that being said, let's discuss about today's real talk topic. Money versus the various situations that we face in life. It really is the duality of our times. Let me first start off by talking about money. Money is in many ways extremely useful and is the fuel that runs our lives and in turn the entire world. Money can buy happiness, and I admit, in many occasions, and is the fundamental, quintessential core enabler for basics and luxuries. It can buy and unlock experiences, materials, memories, and all the locations that we ever go to. But finally, almost happiness. And I say almost on purpose, which I will get into a little while later in the video, and hopefully it gets more clearer and clearer about why I use the word almost. Society has almost everyone believing that money is one of the only gateways to happiness. Trust me, I wish it was that simple. But I think, as many of you all might have experienced yourself, it is not that simple. Truth is, money buys happiness in some cases, and even in those cases are most often than not short-lived, and in extremely rare cases, long-lasting. A very rare case of it being long-lasting is, let's say you spend some money on a charity and you fundamentally, in so many ways, change somebody's life. Or you needed the money and ended up saving someone you really love, someone very near and dear to you. In those ways, if the outcome is successful, and the outcome is variable and subject to many things out there. But let's say it happens successfully. Then you feel that the money you had was capable of bringing you long-lasting happiness. But it is extremely short-lived when you buy these experiences and materials, as I aforementioned. It could be cars, clothing, let's say a big house, jewels, and whatnot. In those cases, it is really short-lived because eventually the worth of those things with respect to time erodes and goes away almost entirely. You could buy the costliest car you can imagine, and you'd be excited on the first day, the second day, maybe the third day, maybe 3 weeks later. But in the third year or the fourth year, it'll become normal. like it is just any other car. And notice another point. Whenever I mentioned short lived, it was always self service. Things that we do for ourselves. And there is nothing fundamentally wrong with it. But you must be prepared that it is short lived. But the things that could bring us everlasting happiness, for however long, maybe I will never use the word forever because no one can actually ever stay happy forever. But for however long that happiness lasts, it is only guaranteed longevity when you do it in self sacrifice or if you do it in service of others. When you help another person out, then it becomes extremely satisfying. Success, however, is in more ways than just money and could therefore give you lasting satisfaction or happiness. But we must all have materialistic pursuits of goals. Heck, this YouTube channel itself, the existence of me on the internet, filming myself and talking into it to so many random strangers out there, is simply because I want an alternate source of income. Let me be very honest with you. Because we are ourselves here after all, so we need not have a mask. So, this endeavor, this very thing that I'm doing right now, is an endeavor in itself to make some money. And there's nothing wrong with that. But just remember that your mind and your soul is always trying to seek out a higher purpose and a deeper connection with something, someone, or a group of people, or an organization. But I digress. A part of me really wishes and aspires that money could really be the answer to everything we face, and that it was easy and straightforward. But life is complicated, and we must acknowledge that. Moving on, since this was a video talking about money with life, right? And in many ways, they come at odds with each other. So, life, for starters, can be broadly categorized into two subgroups, really, if you think about it. Your personal life, the time you spend with your loved ones, and the time you spend at work, your professional life. No amount of money. And let me first start with the personal things that could happen. Let me say again, no amount of money can help deal with the immense personal setbacks that we go through. For example, it could be a breakup with a loved one, or it could be, in a more permanent sense, the death of a loved one. No amount of money can help if the external situations are bad and horrendous. For example, and a quick story time. There was a person whose name I shall not take for their privacy's reasons. But this was a person in my circle who I knew. And it was the thick of the second wave of COVID here in India. And everyone was falling like skittles, everyone I know. It was a very difficult time. And this particular person was extremely rich. And they all have a bungalow, they're extremely rich here in Bangalore, and they're very well to do. And so what happened is, the whole family ended up getting COVID. And all of them isolated in their rooms, and they did not interact with each other for a very long time. The head of the household, the person who was tragically I'm talking about, he was on the couch. He quarantined himself in the hall. His family frantically searched for hospital beds all across the city, but they couldn't get one. And he actually ended up quietly passing away on his couch. And this was a person who was very well to do, very rich, in some ways influential, but he could not stave off his fate. So money couldn't help him there or help his family there. And it really puts it into perspective that if the external situations are bad, it doesn't matter if you're a multi-millionaire. You will meet your fate, whatever your fate is. And no amount of money can fix broken hearts and defeated minds. There are rich people with depression and poor people extremely happy. And there is nothing that can explain that paradox. Money can buy many materialistic things, but it cannot buy metaphysical things. For example, true love, brotherhood or sisterhood, maybe a loving family, or true friendship. There was even a short poem Muhammad Ali told regarding this, that gold cannot hear you or feel your emotions, but only a true born friend can. And something to that effect. So, it is really important to remember that money is not able to buy some of the most sought after things in this world. And we need to remember that. Some situations are extremely difficult for money to solve. For example, a woman or a man who have to quit their jobs to maybe take care of their kid, which eventually basically kills their career right for their child. Some people might find that decision improbable, non-implementable, but some people are very, very happy with that decision. And sometimes people take a decision which directly curtails their spending power or their earning power for something that they believe is greater than themselves. Their kids, for example, or maybe an NGO where you are basically just a volunteer, or a monk, a priest, or a sadhu who renounces the world and walks away from our world. These individuals have purposefully put money under the bus and are willing to take the high road, their own way, for their own happiness. But earning money and spending money is truly amazing only if you have people to spend it with. There is no two ways about this. Spending money on your own might give you some happiness, but without the important people in your life who you cherish and love, to be there with you and to see their reactions of ecstaticness, excitement, joy. These emotions, if you do not see in someone else and that your money power bought that, then it really is worth earning that money. Just to see the love on their faces and the happiness on their faces. But now coming to professional life, no amount of money is going to help you if you have a horrible boss at work, whose job it is to constantly harass you. No amount of money would help you if you're stagnated in your career, and if you just do not enjoy it any longer. Let's say you do a job purely because it gives you good money, but you hate it. You will be insufferable. I guarantee it. And at that point, you really need to take a call if you want to continue doing it or you want to do what you love. And that could be many things. Maybe you wanted to be an excellent musician. Maybe you wanted to do YouTube. Maybe you wanted to do, maybe become a singer, whatever it is, right? Pursue it, because life is too short to be insufferable, even if it brings in big money. And finally, what I'd like to say with regard to, to professional life is that high stress and burning out and fatigue, these things, no matter how your bank account looks like, will not go away. Especially if the situation is still in your workplace that doesn't allow you to go and spend this money on vacations or experiences that will relax you. You will be suffering and stressed out and burnt out, and you will lose the human will to live and work. So, due to all of these factors, right, which are indeed very complicated, the vibrant colors of life that it should be, right? You should see very vibrant colors of life. Instead, we are in the pursuit of money. And in turn, supposedly, we get that happiness. But after we get it all, we are back to square one. We still do not feel anything. We have the cars, we have the big house, we have everything. But we still feel lost. And as a people, you and me, we cannot allow that. We need to do something other than just money that makes us excited to wake up in the morning. So, in conclusion, my concluding note is this: take the right calls and truly think and prioritize what's important to you. Because, never forget this, money will come and go. But our time on earth and those of our loved ones are limited. And you might have $1,000,000, but if you do not spend the right amount of time with those people and with yourself, you will be left with 1,000,000,000 regrets. Well, I just tried something new for a change, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed this format of video. It's just a little glimpse into my life and your life, and please feel free to talk to me in the comments below. Let me know if you have had stories where you have had to choose between these and balance between these. But yeah, just wanted to put out some food for thought. Yeah, that's all from my side, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye from Tushar.